Okay, good. So this is the syllabus that I want to share with you. Um, as you can see, my office is on 336, third floor of, of the College of Business. And here's a phone number, and this is the email address and my office hours. And you can also make an appointment with me using www.rowan.edu /RSN, Rowan Star Network. So here you can make an appointment with me and secure your time and come and see me. In regards to email, I usually, uh, try to be responsive to students' emails, but please give me 3 days for me to reply to you. But if you don't receive a reply to me from me in 3 days, that means that somehow I forgot to reply to you. So if you just remind me again by sending on another email, then I will immediately reply to you. So give me the 3 days, but if you don't receive email back to me in 3 days, please send me a reminder. I will answer you quickly. Here's the textbook information, 14th edition of Operations Management, written by Heiser, Render, and Munson. It is published by Pearson. More important is my OM lab. My OM lab is mandatory in this course because I'm going to deliver practice questions and quizzes and exams via my OM lab. And this my OM lab access code comes with e-textbook, so you can also read the e-textbook content if you have this access code. If you want to have physical textbook, which is very good idea, you can pay additionally about $30 through my OM lab, then you can get the physical textbook as well. Or you can buy older version of the textbook, say ninth version of operations management, then you may pay, nominal price and get the textbook and study from that textbook as well. So I encourage that method as well. But as I say, my OM lab is a mandatory that you have to get. And once you go to myomlab.com, you will need to enter my course ID, which is row 65429. So you have to enter this course ID into my OM lab. And there are two options. You can use trial version, which is good for 2 weeks, or you can, after 2 weeks of trial, you have to buy that access code. I just want to disclaim, here's a disclaimer that I have nothing to do with Pearson, but I'm using it because the content is good and helpful for students to succeed in this course. Here's the evaluation structure of the course. We'll have 4 exams, and I will drop the lowest. So typically, from my past experience, I can tell you students take first 3 exams and drop a final exam because final exam is cumulative. But if you messed up with one of those exams, you can take final exams, though it is cumulative exam. There are 6 quizzes. After 2 chapters, you will need to take quizzes, and it's taken outside of the class. Exams are taken inside of the class, but quizzes are outside of the classes. You have 3 attempts to take the quizzes, and I will drop the lowest quiz for you. The reason why I give quizzes like this is because I want you to be prepared for exam. So if you want to do well in quizzes, first go over the practice questions that I posted on my OM lab, and then take quizzes. I give 3 attempts per quiz. So if you did not do very well in a quiz, then you can take up to 3 times. And say somehow you missed the taking quizzes, then I also let you take the quizzes after the due date. However, with 20% of penalty, meaning that you got 80, then 20% of that grade will be deducted. That's what is going to happen. And then, so if you do well and go over the quizzes, then you are to succeed in the exams because exams are patterned after quizzes and practice questions. Then we have project poster and presentation. That's 15% of the grade. At the end of this semester, you will present this poster and we'll have a competition and I will select one group and recommend them to go to a conference to present the paper, the poster. And we have throughout the semester, we have multiple cases presented. At the time, each group will present one case, and that's 10% of your grade. And there are 6 assignments throughout the semester, and that's 15% of the grade. And participation is class participation, whether you attended, attendance is the basic, and afterward, how much are you attentive to the class, participate in the class, contribute to the class. That's a portion of participation grade. So these are the basic structure of the course. As you can see, I evenly distributed the courses and employing many types of learning methods so that it may be helpful for you to understand this course. So here's the exam, 45%. And basically I explained everything. So let me go to the next one, quiz 10%. Usually it will be made available Wednesdays, and it's due the following Wednesday, 9:30 a.m. So before coming to class, I hope you got them done so that you are ready to move on to the next topic rather than hanging over with the other topics. And kind of, operations management builds up on other chapters taught before. So it's good for you to understand the previous chapters before coming to the class. So that's why I make the due 9:30 a.m. on Wednesdays. Here's the poster competition that I mentioned, 15% of your grade. There are 2 options. Option 1 is visiting local business and observe their operations management practices. And you want to conduct an interview with the manager there and make a poster based on the questions and findings. That's option 1. Option 2 is business process improvement. It is using a concept that you learned from this course, especially Six Sigma method, and you want to, spot a problem and improve that problem. For example, you might have, server capacity problem. Brianna told me that she is working as a server in a restaurant, and sometimes there might be too many customers and too few servers. And at the time, it's going to be challenging to serve all the people who came to dine there. And how can we, increase or resolve this issue? How can we increase capacity or make it more efficient to serve all the customers, right? So that's one issue that you want to deal with. And by improving the processes, you may be able to tackle that problem. So option 2 is preferred way for you to go. I encourage all of you to take option 2, but if you would like to just get done with the project, you are free to take option 1 as well. So here are option 1 example. For example, one student group, they went to Naval Foundry in Philadelphia, and they observed how they are doing their operations from their strategy to forecasting to quality they did all these observations and interviewed, took pictures, and they reported their practices. The same with yacht manufacturing in North Jersey. There was a yacht manufacturing company, and they did that. Another group did a sweetens florist business. They had this delivery issue and how they are doing the business that was dealt with. Another student group did Rowan's bursar's office because they have enormous work to do, how they are managing all their processes that was reported. I typically don't recommend fast food restaurants or retailers because the informations it's just floating on the internet and it's not that interesting because we all know how it is being done. So I recommend you to take business that you are working. It could be uh, the Dante said to me that he is working in a Nissan dealership and he's clearing the lot himself. So that process is more interesting to me than just General McDonald, how they are doing their business. So I recommend you to take your own businesses rather than typically available examples such as fast food restaurants or retailers. Here's option two, there's business process improvement. And past teams have done their work on gourmet dining issue at Rowan University. I think they lacked variety and quality. So how they can improve this issue that they worked on. Another group did their project on rec center capacity improvement because in the afternoon, it's so crowded and are not enjoying or finding the equipment that they can work on. So this problem was tackled before. I found that there is a Fortune 150 company in the back of Rowan University, that's Alluris. And Alluris had an inventory problem, and a team of the students tackled this issue. And other groups did grilled cheese operations and logistics process improvement with the trucking company. Um, so these are done before. And here is an example of what students did before. This is Expo Logistics. One student, her dad worked in Expo Logistics and she had access to the company and she did this process improvement with the company using problem statement, as map she drew, and hypothesis testing she did, and made a solution to be chart and other things she worked on along with her team members, and it was really good. Here's an example from Dave and Buster's, and they had a poor time management issue, and how can they improve this issue? So as is chart, and their suggestion is by getting rid of all these non-value adding activities, they can achieve this improvement. So that's what was done there. Another example is Rowan after hours. So everyone is enjoying raw, but the process can improve because they have recruiting and retention problem. So the steps are not remaining or being retained there. So how can they improve this? So that was covered in that project. So I want to share with you that these three students, they did this raw project and participated in this academic conference and presented their poster there and received honorary mention in this big conference. And I was so encouraged to see that happening for them. So I think you can be just like them. So I encourage you um, to do your best in this process improvement and take the opportunity because this conference was supported by the school. So we paid all these expenses and registration fees, and they presented and had a very good experience. They learned a lot, even if they do not win anything. Just participating and interacting with other students and people's presentations that's beneficial for them. So here's a Tom Project poster competition that happened before, and we had winners and how it happened. So I would like to have a similar experience. Now, case presentation, 10% of your grade. Team are going to be consisting of 5 students, and I will give you guideline for you to work on, and you can prepare the case presentation beforehand and meet with me and receive feedback from me and make a presentation. And I want you to include one APA style reference slide at the end of your presentation. In that way, you are clear about the sources of the information. And here are the 7 cases that I made. The first one is Southwest airline meltdown, the real root cause. And the second one is Get Off My Sidewalks. This is about AI robots. And the third one is Return Rendezvous, mastering the maze of returns and retail partnerships, because many businesses are struggling with returns, and Amazon is doing the same thing. So how do they manage this reverse logistics? And here, Ozempic dilemma, rationing amidst rising demand. So how do they predict this surge in demand in holiday season? That's covered in case 4. Case 5 is Hoka's marathon, the slow dance of strategy growth and sneaker economics. So Hoka has risen to prominence for their marathoners, and I wanted to see how they succeeded in their operations. So that's covered in case 5. And case 6, how did COVID really shape supply chains? So we know there were significant disruptions because of COVID and how they were being dealt with. So that can be covered here in case 6. Case 7 is, can AI and blockchain solve the food loss and waste problem? So we are now very familiar with the AI and blockchain, and can they really solve food loss and waste problem? That will be covered in case 7. So I want you to form a group, and each group consists of 5 students, and take this case as soon as possible. So basically, first come, first served basis, I'm going to assign this class. So case 1, they are presenting at the end of this month, and I want to meet with a group next Wednesday. So if you want to take case 1, that's great. And I'm usually, there's an advantage for early bird, right? So early birds, I guide them as much as I can. And also I am more lenient in grading because they are the first group. So if you want to get done with the case presentation and analysis, I encourage you to form your group and let me know, and I'm going to assign this case to you. And case 2 to 7, in the same way, first come, first served basis. And I want you to know that this case group that you choose and you form will be also working together on various assignments and also term projects. So it's very important for you to form a group that you feel comfortable with. Here's case presentation evaluation criteria. So whether it was well organized and whether you have done your analysis well, and especially QPIC is an important concept: quality, process, inventory, and control. So these 4 pillars of operations management, and you want to see whether these cases are analyzed on these 4 categories and whether you made a good recommendation. And another thing that I encourage you to do is discussion. I want you to lead a vibrant discussion while you present your case. So that's over here. And lastly, your presentation skills. As you have heard many times, I see many students are reading off of the slides or note or not making eye contact. But I encourage you to boldly present and make interesting questions and answer the questions well, those things will be definitely helpful for you. Now, assignment, I'm planning to give you 6 assignments. So every 2 weeks, I think you will have one assignment. Right now, assignment 1 is only academic honor commitment. It's just filling out the form and signing on it. So I encourage you to do it this week because it's very straightforward. And then afterward, I'm going to be covering statistical process control chart, term project progress report, forecasting analysis, linear programming, Microsoft project exercise, and lastly, SAP ERP labs. So these are 6 assignments. And first assignment and the last assignment are individual assignments, and the rest of them are team assignments. So it's very important for you to work with teams that you feel comfortable with. And lastly, participation is 5%. So I would say if you are in high 90s, say, oh, I got 94 already, I don't need 5%, then I don't know if it is possible, but if that is the case, theoretically, you don't have to really worry about participation. However, I often see that you are on the borderline. Say your grade is 89, and then your participation is low, then it might be very difficult for you to receive an A or A minus because of your low participation. And it's very good for you to participate well and make a good contribution to the class and be a helpful member or participant of the class, right? So that's really important. And when I say participation, it's not just attending, but it includes listening and preparedness, engagement, and making good comments. It's not just making any comments, but impactful comments. And those things are included in participation. So I encourage you to look at this criteria that I gave you in the syllabus and participate. I would like to compare participation to swimming. It's a life skill, and I'm not that a good swimmer. How many of you are good swimmers? Can you raise your hand? Are you guys good at swimmer? Any good swimmers here? A person on a swim team or something like that. Okay, Joe. Good. Anyone else? Any good swimmer? So Joe, what do you think? Do you feel free in the water? Do you love swimming?
I'm not like the best swimmer out there, but I definitely feel free. I love being in the ocean or in a pool, especially during the summertime.
Yeah, that's right. So here in this article is swimmers find the freedom and beauty on the open water. So I'm definitely not this kind of person, although I can swim in a shallow water in the ocean, but I'm afraid of going to deep water. But if we know how to swim, there's no fear, um, and we can find the beauty, we can find the freedom. Likewise, if we know how to participate, how to make a contribution in a class or in a group, it makes us free. It makes us find the beauty in associating with others, right? So I would say participation is like swimming. It's like a, a life skill. So I encourage you to come out of your shell and try to participate. It's not much, it maybe you can ask one good question per class, right? Or you make one good reply per class, right? That's all it takes. So I encourage you to learn to participate and improve yourself. Here's grayscale. It's typical, except that I usually do not round up. Uh, so I encourage you to um, do well in my course, and I give you many chances to improve, even extra credits. So I hope you do well in my class. In terms of test quizzes, I give 20% of penalty after due date. You can still take, but test I don't usually give makeup tests. So please be aware of that, unless you have legitimate reason to miss the test. Also, do not disrupt the class. This is an in-person class, and sometimes, students are leaving the class. I encourage you to take care of yourself before or after the class so that you don't have to leave the class. And please turn your cell phone silent and do not use it during the class unless I ask you to use it. And I will use laptop in my course. However, I do not encourage you or allow you to surf on the internet during the class. So please, if you are using your tab and making a note on the slide yourself, that is allowed, but you have to promise me that you don't use it for other purpose. And as I said, email will be answered in 3 business days. Here's the schedule. So today, this is an introduction class, and I encourage you to form groups and select the case. And then from this coming Monday, I'm gonna give lectures on the chapters, first starting with the introduction to operations management, then strategy, and so forth. And you see quiz 1 is due on January 31st, quiz 2, February 2nd, quiz 1, for example, will be made available on January 24th. So you have at least 1 week to take the quiz at your convenience. And that's done. Here is case. Case 1 will be present on Wednesdays, 2 on the following Wednesdays, and so forth. So Wednesdays, you are going to give a presentation on case, and I look forward to working with each of you. And here you have assignment due. Usually it's due Wednesdays, but some assignments are due on Monday. And after exam, there is a term project progress report due. So I want you to be organized about your term project. So that's why we have that. So let me cover some comments from students. So these 3 are positive comments. Professor James Rowe is an incredible professor, so thankful I chose to take him for this course, and I would highly recommend him to anyone looking to take this course. He truly cares about all the students. Second one, Dr. Rowe has a calm demeanor and truly does care about the success of his students. Some of the quizzes and tests are difficult to complete due to time constraints, which I struggled with at times. Overall, I enjoyed the course and definitely learned a lot. The third one, very good teacher for a class that sometimes has difficult content. So their comments are this that first of all, this course is difficult. Second of all, the instructor did his best to help them. I think that's how they perceived this course. But there is also a negative comment. And can I ask Patrick Woodside, are you available to read these comments for the class?
Sorry, can you say that one more time?
Can you read these um, comments?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Operations management is one of the hardest classes. Sorry, it's not on my screen. Operations management is one of the hardest classes I completed in college. Although Professor Rowe taught it well, he was sometimes disorganized. You have no idea when things were due by looking at Canvas. At other times, the workload was so overwhelming, you would think of the class as a full-time job. Still, I believe that Professor Rowe wanted the best for us. He cares deeply with his students and his position. I appreciate that he offered to meet with students if they were having trouble with anything. Lastly, I would like to venture to say that 6 mostly group assignments, 5 to 6 quizzes, 1 case presentation for exams, 1 term project, and long lectures were just too much. If I were him, I would make three assignments, 4 quizzes, 1 term project, and a small 2-minute individual case presentation. And 4 exams was dropping the lowest grade as he did. What is this on my screen? All in all, Professor Rowe is a great instructor, but his course was set up for a lot of people to fail.
Okay, yeah, so thank you, Patrick, for reading it for us. Yeah, so I did try to organize better. I thought I organized the class well, but he felt that I was not that organized. So I tried to um, make due dates clearer. So I set up Canvas that way, and I also made the my OMLab due dates clear so that you can understand the due dates. However, there is a grain of truth in his statements that there are a lot of work in this course, and he said this is one of the most difficult and demanding courses, and I have not taken other classes, so I don't know how other professors are teaching, but I am teaching out of my conscience and professional work ethic. I teach this course, and I hope you understand that this is not an easy class. This is a demanding course. And if you feel like this is not for you, there's too much workload, I encourage you to find another professor, another section of operations management. Any questions so far? So I want to just open the floor for you to ask me any questions. Any question about the course? So I'll give this form out later in class on Monday, so you don't have to do it now. If you don't have any question, I would like to have a speedy dating icebreakers, meaning that I'm going to give 30 I'm going to put you into breakout rooms, and I'm going to let you ask questions, and one question, and you have to answer the question to your fellow student for 30 seconds. So, and then after 30 seconds, you want to ask back to your partner and then hear from that person for 30 seconds. So we'll do this for about 15-20 minutes, and we'll get to know each other so that you know how to form your groups later. And then afterward, we'll come back together and share what you guys talked about, what you remember. So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to form breakout session.